welcome to my channel. I'm Bianca Janel. I make videos on lifestyle and books recently. So for today's video, I have my winter library haul. As you guys see, I checked out a lot of books. I checked out 14 books. That is a big book goal, I do have to admit. So if you guys want to see my winter picks, then please keep watching. So as I said in the intro, this is my winter library haul. I checked out 14 books. That's a big goal. 2 of them are cookbooks, so those don't count. Some of them are novellas, and honestly, I am someone who switches between physically reading a book. I'll read a book on my Kindle, and or sometimes I'll listen to an audiobook. So it's actually kind of rare that I sit down to actually read a full book. I do every once in a while, but like I said, I'm someone who kind of switches in between, and a lot of the time I even like listening to some of it on audiobooks. Again, depending on who is voicing the audiobook, I like to hear voices as I'm reading, and then when I read on my own, I can still hear the voices. So that's how I consume books, and I can get through books pretty fast. 14 is a big goal. I'm, like I said, in the second week of November. I have some time. I started some books, so let me show you what I picked up. So the first book we have here is Once Upon a December. I just think the cover is so darling, and yes, I will pick books based off the covers. I'm sorry, I fall victim to it. Actually, I am not sorry, because I feel like every time I've picked out a book with a cute cover, I've always liked it. Another thing I want to say, if I haven't said this before in any other book videos, which I'm sure I have because it's a big thing to know about me, I adore cheesy romance books. The more cheesier, the more Hallmarkish, the better to me. I eat that right up. It's like my favorite. And now you're throwing Christmas into it. Like, I'm good. That's why I picked a lot of books, because I really don't have much plans this winter, but just to read and enjoy these stories. So like I said, one of the first books I picked up is Once Upon a Time in December. So it says, Astra's yearly trip to the Milwaukee Christmas market takes a whole new meaning. She's ready to eat, drink, and be merry, especially with the handsome stranger who saves the best Kringle for her at his family bakery. That sounds like it is right up my alley. Honestly, it had me at Christmas markets. I didn't need to know anything else about this book except that it's a romance within a Christmas market. Yeah, that screams Christmas to me. I like to read kind of like on theme. So the fact that this says Once Upon a December, I'm going to wait till December to read this, which is only within a couple more weeks. So I'm trying to hold off, but actually this is one of the books that I'm most excited to read. The next book I picked up is 3 Holidays and a Wedding. In my head, I'm like, a wedding during the holiday season? Sold. Like, again, I just love this cheesy romance. I've actually seen a couple people talk about this, and they say that this is really good. So when I pick out books, what I actually like to do personally, I'll go onto TikTok or I'll go onto Pinterest, and I'll just search up Christmas books. And then I start to see what everyone is talking about. Now, I know you can't always depend on that, and everyone's preference is completely different. But sometimes at least they'll share the summary of the book, and if I feel like that would be something that intrigues me, then I just add it to my library cart. What I do personally myself is I look up these books, and sometimes I'll start looking, well, no, not sometimes, I started looking as early as September and October, and I just started saving the books to my library cart. And then when I was ready to check these out, I kind of just placed an order on all of them, and then they were all ready within my library within a week, so I was able to pick them up really quick. Plus, another thing that I have learned, especially if you are a library girly who is into seasonal books, put your order in early, because by the time you put your book order or request in November, December, there's already a hold on them usually. So I like to get them first and read the ones that I feel like I'm most anticipating, and then that way I can go return them to the library for the next person. So that's why I do this as early as the first week of November, and I start reading Christmas stories as early as the first week of November. Once Halloween is done, like, I'm done with my witchy vibe and I'm on to my Christmassy vibe. So that's just a little tip I would say. Also, another tip I would say too, it's not even just the library. If you use the Libby app, which is the online library, and you can transfer those over to your Kindle, same thing, I start to put my books on hold come October. That way they're available November and December. So just a little tip. I'm not sure if I should share this tip, because if everyone starts doing that, then I'm screwed next year. But no, I'll share that tip with you guys. put books on order earlier, because if not, then you're just on a wait list. Next book I picked up, I actually read in the beginning of this year. It was, well, I read it towards the end of last year, beginning of this year. This was actually like my New Year book. And I fell in love with it. I would love to read it. It's the first Josie Silver book that I have read, and I adored it. It's, from what I can remember, it's about this woman who knows the secret to a gelato recipe, and then there's this man who's trying to figure out the gelato recipe from his grandpa, but his grandpa is falling ill. I think it's the grandpa. I don't remember if it's the grandpa or the uncle. Again, it was in the beginning of the year, and my reading comprehension is so bad. But it's something within the realm of that, and of course, the girl has the recipe that he needs. So, anyways, it was just super cute from what I remember. And I'll tell you, and I'll be honest, again, I think I said that's my last book out. My reading comprehension is so bad. That's why I want to do more bookish videos, because I feel like maybe it would help my reading comprehension to remember. I'm someone who can be like, oh yeah, I read that because I can remember the cover and the name, and I'll be like, I loved it. And if you ask me why, sometimes I won't remember why. I just know that I felt like I loved it during the time. So I'm excited to get into this one. I actually picked up a couple of books by Josie Silver. The next one I picked up is One Day in December. I believe it's about two people who just keep kind of crossing paths. It takes place in London. Christmas time in London. I can't want anything more. One of my dream trips is to go to London during Christmas. So I just want all those vibes, especially in a book. So I'm excited to read this one. And same thing, because it says One Day in December. I'm gonna wait till December to read this. And then the last book, we'll just stick with the same author right now. The last book I got from, oh no, this is a different author. Oh, never mind. I only got 2 books by Josie Silver. The next author is by, the next author I want to go over is Jenny Bayliss. I read this book last year, and actually I just finished reading it / listening to it on audiobook. And I loved it. It was my favorite Christmas book last year. It's the 12 Dates of Christmas. And that's just what it is. The 12 Dates of Christmas. This woman, Kate, she is in Bluxford, England, and she signs up for an agency where she goes on 12 dates of Christmas. It starts a little slow, but then before you know it, you're like invested in each date, and you want to find out how each date goes. So I really love this. I read it last year, and then this year I read it and listened to an audiobook, and it is so cute on audiobook. I would suggest that if you're reading, to listen to some of it on audiobook as well, just because I like the English accent too, so it makes it a little bit more fun and enjoyable. The next book I got by Jenny Bayliss is a season for second chances. I actually had this in my TBR last year during winter time, and I just never got to it, but I got to this book, and because now I feel like I love this author, because I thought this was so cute, I'm really excited to start this one next. And I do want to say, because I have been enjoying this author, I actually am listening to another book by her right now, which is Meet Me Under the Mistletoe. I'm listening to it on Libby right now, and I am enjoying it. I am eating it right up. It already starts very Christmassy, and I just like the way she writes and the way she develops her characters. I'm eating it all up. So she has been one of my favorite authors, I have to say, to date for Christmas books. I just really enjoy them, and I get into them really fast. So I'm excited to start this one soon. The next book I have is Christina Lauren's And the Holidays. I feel like this book is always on everyone's Christmas TBR as well. I actually read my first Christina Lauren book this year, which was Paradise Problem. We read it for my book club, and we all really enjoyed it. We all thought it was really cute. I really liked her writing, so I was excited to pick up this one. The other one I have on hold from her is Love and Other Words, I believe that's what it's called. So I'm excited to read that. But of course, we're in our Christmas spirit right now, and I think that's kind of like a Groundhog Day. Like, she repeats the same day over and over. I don't know how many times, but I think that's what this book is about. I'm kind of going into this blindly. Like I said, I kind of just pick books based off of what everyone was saying, what their suggestions were. So some of these I haven't even read what they're actually about, but that's kind of what I know of this book so far. Like I said, I really enjoyed her book when I read it in the summer, so I'm excited to get into this. Now, the next book, I don't know how I feel about it. It is Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. Now, Tessa Bailey's writing, it's like a hit or miss for me. I liked her series with the two sisters. What's it called? Oh, It Happened One Summer. And then the second one was like something Sink and Hook. I don't remember the second one. And I really like those books. And then I started a couple of other books by her and I did not get into them. I actually stopped reading them. One was her other holiday one, which was Window Shopping. I think I read like the first couple pages and I wasn't feeling it, to be honest. Now, again, I could have just been in a mood. Sometimes reading really depends on my mood. So sometimes if I'm just not in the mood, then I will just totally forget about a book. But I want to say, like, I just didn't enjoy it. And then recently, Amazon came out with Amazon Originals Under the Mistletoe series, where it was 5 different authors who came out with short stories for the holiday season. And I'm currently reading them right now. I'm on the 4th book. And the second book was a Tessa Bailey book. And I didn't know how to rate it because I did not like the storyline. But my goodness, I did like the steaminess of the book. She can write some steamy scenes, and sometimes that alone can get me through a book, and that got me through her short story. But I don't know if it could get me through a full book, and I actually haven't seen good reviews on this. Now, mind you, just because someone doesn't like it doesn't mean that you won't like it. And I have to say that for myself because I know a lot of people don't like cheesy romance, Hallmark type of books. Like, I feel like it's a very niche group of people who do enjoy those books. And I honestly don't even know what this book is about. I think it has to do something with like within the music world or TV world or something like that. Oh no, yeah, Rockstar Shenanigans I see right there. So I'm kind of mixed on this. I might start this book on audiobook and see if it captures me, and then if it does, then I'll continue reading it. So this is the only one I am iffy about in this collection. One that I am not iffy about in this collection is Mary Kay Andrews' The Santa Suit. I have got onto like some TikTok algorithm where I keep seeing everyone talk about this book, and it's a short novella. Everyone is saying they really enjoyed this book. So this is a short story, so I feel like on a cold day I kind of just want to lose myself in this book. So I'm actually really excited to read this. I do have another book by her, but I'll share that more towards the end. Two other books that I'm really excited to get into are actually Christmas classics. So we have A Christmas Carol and we have The Nutcracker. The Nutcracker was one of my favorite Christmas movies growing up. It is my dream to go to the ballet. I'm hoping that maybe we might go this year. I've always wanted to go, but I realized I've actually never read the story, so I wanted to pick it up. And as you see, it is a short story. A Christmas Carol is one of my dad's favorite Christmas books, and I feel like I watched like 3 different adaptations for movies for this book, but I've never read the book. So again, I actually wanted to get into these, and a goal of mine for next year is actually to get into more classics. Like I said, I think 80% of the books I read this year were cheesy romance books. And don't get me wrong, like, that's what I love to read. Like, I use it to escape, and it's like my me time. It's something that I really enjoy. But sometimes I've realized, like, I think because I read so much of that this year that I'm like, okay, maybe I should kind of branch out into like different books. And I do. Like, sometimes I read thrillers, and I get my fix through that. But I do want to start reading a couple of different classics. So that's my goal for next year, is to actually get into, like, I love Pride and Prejudice. That's actually one of my favorite classics, but I would love to read more Jane Austen books. Who else? There's just a ton. Like, there's a lot that I would like to get into next year, just to kind of open up my book palette a bit. So anyways, I thought it'd be fun to start with Christmas classics because that would capture my attention the most, and I feel like that's a good way to start just getting back into reading classics. The next book we have is A Christmas Carol as well. And actually, when I saw this online, when I was looking through the library catalog, it looked like a very Tim Burton-esque type of book. And so I was like, oh, that looks cute, so I just added it to the cart. Anyways, I didn't realize it's actually a seek and find book. So when you open it up, you'll see right here, it shows you different characters or objects that you have to find within the actual scene right here. And I think that is so cute. Again, it's not clearly not my age demographic, but I think this book is super adorable, and I just wanted to share this. I'm actually gonna return it to the library this weekend. That way I hope that a family finds this book next. I think if you have little ones, or you have nieces or nephews or friends with little ones, this is such a cute book to pick up for the holidays because it's interactive and you can actually play with them, you can find with them. I actually have this. It's so funny. I don't know if everyone does this or this is just me. I have a list on Amazon that are like books that I want to buy for my baby. Not pregnant, not trying, we're nowhere near it anytime soon right now, but I do know that we want them in the future. And so every time I find a book that I want for my future baby's library, I actually add it to my cart. That way when the time comes, then I have all those books kind of saved up. So this is one that I'm definitely putting in for the holiday season. So like I said, if you have little ones, I would suggest getting this. This would be really fun. The next two books are actually cookbooks. So at the library, I love getting cookbooks. I use them as home decor actually, and I think that's a really fun way to change up the home decor in your house is by getting different cookbooks. You can get different art books, home decor books. That way you can actually use them as home decor. So I feel like as the seasons go, that's what I usually will like change up. Like during the summer, I had like a Spanish paella book out on display. During the spring, I'll have obviously like a floral book, kind of garden book on display. So right now I have these two on display. We have a Christmas Carol, so it's like a menu curated off the book, which I thought was actually really cool. And then we have the Book of Gingerbread. So there's houses, cookies, desserts, and more in this book. And again, they're just so nice. They're so pretty. I will just sit and like flip through them just because I think they're really pretty to look at. I mean, I'll admit I don't really use them as a cookbook. I should, but I don't, if I'm being quite honest. I use them more as like my display. So that's just a little tip that you can use for your actual home decor, is to go to the library and just pick out fun books. And maybe you never know, like sometimes I'll just pick up books like on gardening. It has been a dream of mine for this past year to start a garden, and I didn't do it. So next year I'm going to. But what I do is I'll get garden books. That way I'm hoping that it will inspire me to. It has not inspired me yet. I think I'm a little overwhelmed. But now that I've gotten it a couple times, I'm like, okay, I think by next year I can make my own garden. And those are all the holiday books that I got at the library. I do have 4 more books to share. So my library has a little store attached to it, which is actually a used bookstore. And I go in there all the time. I love a used bookstore. I feel like you find so many treasures in there. And they're usually very affordable. So I actually picked these books up in October. So my used bookstore attached to the library started putting out some of the Christmas books early. So I did get these back in October. So the first book I got was Mary Kay Andrews' Bright Lights Big Christmas. She also has the Santa suit. And actually I have heard a lot of good things about this one as well. And she recently came out with another short story. I'll link it right here. I can't even think of the name. I did put it in my Kindle. I'm not sure if it's out yet or it's about to come out. But that is a new one as well. And I just thought that this cover was so pretty for the holidays. And it's my own. I think I got this for like $1. So that was crazy. Another find that I got was this book right here. It is so beautiful. Like I said, I collect these books just to have out on display with the rest of my Christmas decor. So it is Christmas Stories Round the World, and that's just what it is. It's stories about different places in the world. So we have stories from Austria, Canada, Iceland, Ireland, Japan, Jordan, Mexico, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Sicily, Spain, Sweden, and the US. So I think this was just something that was super cute. Again, something that I imagined myself reading to my future children. Just really sweet. Oh, it's got a little name right here. It says Penny Rossi. Maybe that's who it belonged to before. Aw, that's why I love getting used books, because you never know what you're going to find within them. Like sometimes I've found bookmarks within them, names, or I love like finding a book that someone has already like highlighted, annotated, because I love to see what someone else was like thinking. I think that's really cool. The next one, this was a really fun find for me too, which was, it's called The Christmas Table. And it's just like a very nostalgic book. My mom used to have a recipe book that kind of looks similar to this, with this kind of spine. I forgot what this kind of spine is called. And I just thought it was really cute. Again, I think I got this for like $2, and it has like all these different Christmas recipes on there. Again, hopefully one day I will use it for the actual recipes, but right now it is on display, and I just think that it is so festive and very Christmassy, nostalgic. I love it. And then the last book that I had thrifted was A Christmas Carol. Like I said, this is one of my dad's favorite books, and I just thought it was a beautiful book. It had beautiful illustrations. So not every page is illustrated. So you can see one right there. Let's see if we can find another one. There we go. Oh, that's where he's with Tiny Tim. How cute. So again, I just thought this was another great find. These books, I couldn't have paid more than $2 for. The used bookstore is very affordable where I'm at. So I just thought these were really fun finds. So if you have a used bookstore near you, I suggest going in, because you never know what you're going to find. Like I said, this looks like all used and worn in, and I just love it. I actually think that makes a really nice gift too. I am starting to do my gift guides. I did start a new series recently, which I'm really into. I'll pick out a book, and then I will show you what gifts I think would match that book. So I think if you wanted to pick something out from the gift guide to go with the book, or you buy the whole collection of what I show, I thought that was a fun idea that I haven't seen. So I have been enjoying that. My first one I did was on the 12 Days of Christmas, and I recently did one on Winter in New York, because I've read those books. I'm only doing it on books that I've read. So that has been a fun series. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you guys follow me on all my socials. And if you guys like these bookish videos, let me know in the comments. Let me know. What I really want to know is what you're most excited to read this winter season. I'm excited about a lot of these, to be honest, but I think the two that I am most excited about are the ones that say December in the title. I'm most excited to read these two. I want to start doing more bookish videos in the new year and more reviews, so you guys will see more of that soon. So if you guys like this, the next video that I am filming, which will come out in a couple days, is what's on my winter TBR on my Kindle. I have a ton of books on my Kindle right now that I want to get through as well, that are different from the books that I checked out. So if you guys want to see that, then please stay tuned, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.